I wish I knew as a freshman in music. Freshman year can be really, really scary. It's your first year in college, first year away from home, and there are just so many unknowns. I remember my freshman year, I was terrified. I was just trying to find my classes, just trying to make new friends, and just trying to survive. There are so many things that I wish I would have known, but I narrowed them down to the top 4. Juries, practice, limiting, and enjoying. Hey everyone, welcome to Sid's Music. I'm Sid, a sophomore music major, and let's get started with juries. Juries. What are juries? Will I survive them? Am I going to fail? Let's start with what juries are first. So juries are essentially the music lesson finals. So every college kind of does it a little bit differently, but here's the main overview. So every semester, you're required to learn a set amount of scales and a set amount of songs. You spend all semester practicing them, memorizing them, and going to music lessons, getting help, figuring them out. At the end of the semester, when finals roll around, so do juries. So you take all of the songs that you've memorized, all the scales, and you actually play them in front of usually the whole music department. You play your scales, you play your songs, the music department will write notes and give you a grade. Usually it's pass or fail, and then that's it. What I wish I would have known about juries is it's okay to be scared, but in that same breath, you also have to remember to be confident. You've been practicing these scales, these songs, for 3 or 4 months at this point. You've got this. If you mess up in your song, or both of them, that's okay. Just keep pushing through. They're not gonna fail you because you slip up on one little part of the song. Now, if you butcher the whole song, yeah, they're probably gonna fail you. But if you just mess up a little section, keep pushing through. You're probably gonna be fine. If it gets so bad, you just keep messing up, you just maybe you even lose your spot in music. Stop. Take a deep breath. Go back to a measure that you remember, and then keep going. It's gonna be much better for you to stop and then get back on your feet and keep playing than to keep messing up and just kind of fumble your way through the song. I remember my first juries. So you're required to play all of your songs and stuff that you've memorized. I was told you only had to play one, and that it was chosen at random, which it might be for other schools, but not the school that I'm at. I remember sitting backstage, we're all laughing, talking, trying to get the nerves out, and I was like, oh man, I really hope they pick this song, not the other ones. And they're like, what do you mean pick one song? And I was like, don't we only have to play one? They're like, no, you're required to play all of them. And the panic that ran through my body was insane. I was so stressed. I can play the rest of them, but I just wasn't prepared to play all of them. So I remember sitting backstage freaking out, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to do this. What am I gonna do? They're trying to calm me down, tell me it's gonna be okay. And all of a sudden it became my turn to play. I woke up on that stage, all the music department sitting in the crowd, and I was like, hello, I'm Sydney Hampton. And they're like, okay, have a seat, they said one minor, one major. I played my scales, and they're like, all right, just begin. The first song was pretty easy. That's the one I wanted them to pick originally. And so I played it with ease, made it through. It was great. My second song was a little bit more tricky. I played it, and about 1/4 of the way through, I messed up. You probably could see the panic on my face as I messed up, but I just kept going, made it through, and actually ended up getting a pretty decent grade on that song, just because I kept going. The third song, about halfway through, I messed up pretty dang bad. I tried to keep going, but I just all of a sudden forgot where I was in the music, couldn't remember the notes, and started to panic. My hands were shaky. I was like, oh my goodness. So I just stopped. I stopped playing, took a deep breath, and then I kept going. When I was done playing, I stood up, gave a little bow, and I walked off stage. The best part about freshman juries is you're probably never gonna have to play those songs again. Now, the further you get into being a music major, you're actually going to start preparing for a senior recital. So you actually do have to start remembering the songs. But your freshman year songs probably aren't gonna be in your senior recital, so you can probably forget about them. Please don't tell my music professor I said that. I think she would kill me. At the end, juries are just way more scarier than they actually are. You've been preparing these songs for long enough that you should be confident going up on that stage. Juries is just another performance. You've got it. Our next one is practice. Now, practicing may sound like a dumb, oh yeah, obviously sort of idea, but it's actually so important. For music classes, you don't really have a lot of homework because practicing is your homework. So at times it might feel like you have a lot of free time, you don't have to do much homework, you kind of do whatever you want, but you have to make sure that you take that time of quote unquote free time that you would usually be spending on doing music homework and practice. I didn't practice as much as I should have my freshman year. By the time juries rolled around, about 3 or 4 weeks prior, I realized I was so far behind. I panicked. I started practicing so many hours a day. Probably, honestly, I woke up, went to all my classes, and then practiced from the afternoon on until, honestly, 2 a.m. in the morning. It was so many long nights. And then during the week of finals, I'm also trying to study for my other finals on top of my music, and it just became so much. I was so nervous when I walked onto that jury floor. Now, I did survive juries, barely, and mainly on a lot of prayers. But the thing that I wish I knew was I have to practice. I have to take the time to step away from whatever I'm doing and set 30 an hour, probably about an hour, 2 hours a day practicing. Please, don't be me. Continually practice during the semester and make it a habit so that the rest of your college years, you're not like me sophomore year and having to form this habit now. Our next one is limiting, and I'm talking about limiting yourself. As music majors, there's so many opportunities to join bands, choirs, musical theater productions, chamber ensembles, regular ensembles, the list goes on and on. If you take on too many of these bands or choirs, you're gonna overbook yourself and overstress on something that you love and enjoy to do. Now, as musicians, we want to perform our best every day in every concert. If you're spread too thin, you're not going to be able to put in the practice and the effort and the time that you want to on a piece to make it sound good. When I was a freshman, I played the trumpet and symphonic band, I was taking regular classes, and I was a piano major. So I was spending my time practicing the trumpet, doing regular homework, and spending majority of my time practicing the piano. I was already overly booked. And when one of my friends came up to me and she was like, hey, we're making a little trio, we need a piano player, are you in? I, as a dumb freshman, said, of course, I'll do it, and was really excited to be a part of something cool, something special, which it was cool and special, but I really didn't have time for it. I was handed the piece of music, which was 3 sheets, 3 pieces of paper was a lot. So I was handed the music and was given about a month till our concert. So at the beginning, I practiced, super excited, couldn't wait. Then I slowly started to forget about it. I probably didn't touch that piece of music for 2 weeks. So I put that song on the back burner and didn't really worry about it. I practiced my piano, I worked on my homework, practiced the trumpet, and completely forgot about it. It wasn't until about 2 weeks later when I got a text from one of my friends who started the trio, said, hey, let's meet up to practice and put the parts together. And I freaked out. I was like, oh no, I totally forgot about it. I obviously didn't tell her this. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so I grabbed my music, practiced it really quickly for like 10 minutes, and then showed up to the meetup, and they're like, okay, let's play it. And I failed miserably. I was missing rhythms, I was missing notes, couldn't play any chords right. It was so sloppy. I felt so bad, and I was honestly humiliated. So they were obviously a little bit mad at me, but they're like, it's okay, like, let's just practice again later this week, because the concert wasn't until the following week. And I was like, okay. So I went home, practice, and I just couldn't get it up to performance ready because I skipped out on all this time that I actually needed to be practicing it. So the weekend before the concert rolls around, I'm stressed, I'm trying to practice, trying to get it down. All of a sudden, a huge snowstorm blows in, and the concert actually got canceled because we lost power and just a lot of different other things went wrong. So even though I didn't actually have to play it and humiliate myself in front of thousands of, like 10 people, wasn't thousands, we're not that big of a school, I learned a super valuable lesson, and that's not to ever overbook yourself. I wanted to perform my best, and instead I was about to, because I'd overbooked myself, about to play a song that I kind of played really badly and just do terrible. So biggest tip, don't overbook yourself, don't spread yourself too thin, limit yourself. It will save you so much in the long run. Our fourth and final one is to just enjoy it. I remember coming in as a freshman, I was nervous to talk to people, nervous to join band, nervous to perform, but none of that mattered because my freshman year was so amazing. I actually remember my first concert. Our first concert cycle had rolled around, we've been practicing about 3 or 4 pieces. I actually wasn't in one of them, it was a little bit of a smaller band, but we played 3 pieces. They were really, really beautiful. I loved them, I was super excited about it. Concert day rolled around, we did a little rehearsal that morning, and then it was time for the show. I remember walking onto that stage, sitting down, finding my spot, warming up a little bit, and then he cut us off. We were about to tune. I remember looking into the crowd at all these people. I saw my friends, I saw my family, and I saw a lot of people that I had no idea who they were. But as soon as we played that first note, nothing mattered. It was so cool to be playing in like a part of this big band that I just got to play music and play this beautiful, beautiful song. And I honestly don't even remember the rest of the concert. I just remember playing all of our songs, having the time of my life, and just being like, wow, this is one of the coolest things I've ever done. I loved getting to pursue music full time. I got to chase my dreams of being a musician and playing in the practice rooms, playing with the bands, and just getting to meet all these people who were like-minded. So go and enjoy it. College is a special place. You're never gonna be surrounded by this many musicians just wanting to learn music. I mean, you might, but you're in college, you're actually living with them. So just enjoy your freshman year. Freshman year is full of so many new and exciting things, but it's also full of so many unknowns. Looking back, there are so many things that I wish someone would have told me. I wish someone would have told me what juries were, so that I could not only go in more confident, but I also knew that I had to play all of my songs. I wish someone would have told me to practice. Although it's such a simple thing, I think so many times did I forget that, hey, I need to set out time to build good habits so not only I become a better musician, but I also don't struggle so bad at juries. I really wish someone would have told me to limit myself so I didn't take on so many things at once. Being able to just focus on those current songs really allowed me to play them at their highest potential. And finally, I wish someone would have told me to enjoy it. It goes by so quickly, and college is such a cool time where you're getting to finally chase your dreams of pursuing music full time, and you're getting to do it with like-minded people. And half the time you're living with them too. So just take a deep breath, look around, take it all in, because it goes by so fast. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.